path to enlightenment. In the beginning, there was death, which leads us to the following question. Can I escape this? Can I escape suffering? What do I have to do to be free? Some say enlightenment will set us free, so free from what? Will I make it? Will it really be possible for me? When will it happen? Can I do anything to make it happen? Can it happen now? How many lifetimes do I have to wait? Should I wait or should I do something? Is it really worth it? Is it really true or is it a scam? What does it actually mean? We might be used to carry our life like a heavy bag on our shoulders. There's an endless stream of suffering. Obstacles and unfortunate events pile up. Continuous problems with others, with material needs, and finally with ourselves. There is an underlying feeling of discomfort. We feel like that we are not really happy or satisfied. Quickly others jump to keep us informed and advised. They teach us that we may be not worthy, and we believe them. We are looking in our external life circumstances for reasons. Those confirm why we are not happy. And quickly we find those reasons. That's when others offer us easy solutions to complicated problems, and we appreciate their poor input, which leads us straight into bigger problems. We learn from those others that we have to put in a lot of effort, strength, hope, time and money to get things done. Eventually we find out that we got scammed, even reaching the highest peak of success, richness, fame and fortune. Finally, we experience there is no peace, there is no happiness. Then we hear rumors about this thing called enlightenment. It's called enlightenment, but sometimes it is misunderstood, as if it turns someone into a spiritual being. There are rumors that one changes from a normal person to the enlightened one. There can be offered a concept like you obtain some spiritual superpowers with special advantages included. It's suspected you might be different in shape and form once you reach that state of enlightenment, that it might enable you to do mysterious things like telepathy, walking on water, or trespassing concrete walls. You fantasize that you are eventually be able to fly and teletransport yourself through time and space. You might think that you convert into something else than an ordinary human. All of this might eventually be true if you are ready to give up your physical human form and are ready to get released from endless reincarnations. Are you? Your real true essence is of eternal nature. It was never born and it will never die. And you are here on this planet to learn about this knowledge and then to return, being reunited with the one consciousness. The consciousness you actually never left, because you are that. But the funny part is, once you reach this stage of enlightenment, that you are not interested anymore in all of those powers mentioned. It's in this human form that we like to play mind games about the advantages of enlightenment. We think that it might help, or even be a solution to overcome fear, or to reach the fulfillment of desires and material gains. This way of thinking is an obstacle to reach enlightenment. As we speak about that which cannot be easily understood by the human mind, all of the mentioned is completely misleading. Enlightenment is more about waking up, growing awareness, expanding your consciousness, so that you realize, profoundly know, that you are a spiritual being. Some call it self-realization. Actually, there's nothing to achieve. You are already that. So you might actually at this point give up on the idea to look for enlightenment. If you search outside of yourself, you will never find it, because you look with the eyes of the one consciousness that creates the world you experience with your senses. There's the veil of ignorance obscuring this knowledge of not knowing about your true self. Beyond our human form is something that cannot be touched, smelled, seen, heard, or tasted. We might think that our senses are heightened by enlightenment, but it is not about that. And even when eventually you wake up of the illusion, when your dream of reality is finished and you grasp the vastness of your existence, even when you give up on the idea that you are a separate individual living in a world with loads of things, unfortunately, there will be nothing fundamentally different from before. Different from what you already see, smell, touch, hear, and see. But your perception changes. You will have gained presence. Your life might convert into something peaceful, because you're not bullied around by your life circumstances. You will have gained some detachment from material things. You won't live in fear of your own mortality, in fear of others, or in fear of losing things, because there's nothing to lose. There's nothing to gain. And you know that you are, in your essence, an immortal, indestructible being that is part of a greater consciousness. You might keep living in the exact same circumstances, but it will be different for you. You will have reached a state of bliss. You can live without making your suffering your central focus of attention. You act. You do not have to react. You do not judge. You do not like or dislike. You instinctively act what is right. You are in peace. So yes, it's worth it. Some might like to cry out, but what about me? Me must have to die. Sorry. And then in the end, there is another obstacle. Besides not being able to reach enlightenment because our desires for it make it impossible. Even if there's the slightest expectation of gaining anything, it can break the path to enlightenment. Although when we give up of everything, we recognize that we don't need material gains and success in life. When we recognize that we don't need to be a billionaire and a spiritual sage at the same time. Even then, when we finally reach the state of enlightenment, we will find out that we are still on the path to something far beyond. Some people desire to go to heaven. It seems like a really good idea because it has a lot of advantages attached to the idea of a place called heaven. We could sit like a god beside other gods. We would be able to manifest anything that comes to our mind in split seconds. We would be entertained in a state of continuous pleasure. We would not know what boredom is. No fear, no pain, no suffering. Maybe though a little bit jealous of these other gods, those have reached higher levels of godness. But even that eventually has the ingredient of death incubated into this form of existence of this other world called heaven. Ultimately, there is something else to reach. There is the ultimate truth. There is the ultimate. Once those reach this level of alignment, this level of enlightenment, they are free from the wheel of reincarnations. If we accumulated enough good karma by making the right decisions in life, we might have the unique opportunity to meet those beings as avatars when they come back to this earth, helping out for the evolution of humankind. At this stage, these beings don't want anything. They don't need to reincarnate, but they decide to do so. They offer themselves for the benefits of all sentient beings. This is why we should develop devotion, respect, and an attitude of trying to follow their teachings. Their teaching will be selfless and with only one goal in mind. They want to improve our evolution. They want to help on our path to enlightenment. Be aware, there is no escape from this path. Once you reach the knowledge about your true self, there is no way back. You could possibly not turn back because it wouldn't make any kind of sense. Once you know the real truth about yourself, there's only one way to behave. The right way. And even if you decide against it, it won't help you escape suffering or avoiding anything. You are bound to the wheel of reincarnations and you will be stuck in the same kind of problems over and over and over again. All the way until you reach this point of having enough from suffering and enough motivation to make your first steps into the right direction. So I wish you all the best. Maybe you start by relaxing into it. No rush. Eventually you will be enlightened. Everyone will be enlightened. Maybe it's only a couple of lifetimes away, or it happens overnight. But if enlightenment were water, you would still be in need for a cup to carry it. The cup is your capability of understanding, incorporating and holding this form of wisdom. There's some preparation needed to be able to have this knowledge. You need certain abilities to be able to learn and recognize your real true nature. Beyond the enlightenment, there's the realization of one, the ultimate and absolute truth. If you get a grasp of that, then you will be free from all forms of suffering. Enlightenment is a nice little goal, but ultimately you want to go beyond. Remember, when you want something, it's already an obstacle in the path to enlightenment. Just convert your obstacles into an opportunity. Use the resistance as a fire to burn your thirst for wisdom. Defeat your ignorance with knowledge. Create the favorable circumstances. When you are lucky, you will find your master, your Sadguru, your guru, your guide, to wisdom and knowledge. Be careful to choose wisely when trying to get into the footsteps of someone. Finally, don't listen to what I am saying. Find out about the real truth yourself. When in doubt, follow your bliss and always choose the path to enlightenment.